From what I've been able to gather, Rechenka, meaning Little River, is a Russian folk song about a woman about to be married. And while she has... yes, thank you, Antidati. And while she has friends and horses, she doesn't have the thing she misses the most, which is her mother, for her mother to be there on her wedding. Well, that's sad. So, Rechenka, sung by Diana Ankudinova. Oh, let me make sure you guys can hear it. That would be pretty good. It's a good thing to do. That would just be, fantastic if we could hear. Okay, Rechenka by Diana Ankudinova. She has everything she wants except her mother present on her wedding day. Dude, Scythe. Bro. Kill the mood, man.
Моя реченька, ты течешь, да не колыбнешься. Ой, да ты дитя, да мое дитятко, да ты чего сидишь?
Oh. Okay. Her voice is so crazy, man. It's so rich. But it's not like... It's not rich in the sense that she's doing something to maximize rich timbres. It's like naturally deep and wide and open, right? That's what's crazy about it. It's not like she's employing special techniques to make something like this happen, but it's just a natural quality of her voice. Is she like? What did you say? I saw a comment. The name sounds familiar. Isn't she like the female Dimash? No, I don't think she's like Dimash at all as a singer. Very different everything. But I think the way that that people talk about her online and the way that she's marketed, I think it's very similar to how people, talk about Dimash. Also, they're from similar, they're both from Eastern Europe, so maybe.
Да не улыбнешься.
Storyteller. Look at the intensity in her eyes.
Ой, подруженьки, да мои милые. Ой, да ничего ко мне радоваться. Ой, да ничего ко мне улыбаться. У нас коней то полон двор. Агустито, 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 полна горница! Нет у меня отца матери.
But do you guys hear what I'm saying? Like last time we listened to her, I spent so much time trying to figure out what it was. It's not subharmonics, right? It's just this ridiculously large vocal phonation. It's like a baritone sound. It's like it's so, yeah, she's a contralto, right? I mean, that's what everyone calls her, contralto. Really deep, open acoustic. But there's nothing like, there's no over vibrato, right? There's nothing, there's no phenomenal technique that is creating this, right? It's so primal. It's so like deep within the actual anatomy that's creating this sound. Wow. I'm trying to figure it out. Man, I'm trying to figure it out. It almost does sound like an effect, but I don't have any evidence of that, and I don't even hear it too close to that. It's just such a phenomenal voice. I'm like perplexed about it, man. And I'm not happily perplexed. Talk about yodels, man. Yeah. I mean, I think stylistically they have the music has similarities to what Dimash does. But I think the similarities that people draw between her and Dimash are more about like very phenomenal singers. Like their singing is a unique phenomenon in the world. And then also like the cultural similarities. They're both from Eastern Europe, and they both have. And I think people talk about the reason Dimash's fans are the way they are. It's a cultural thing, and I think the same thing happens with her fans as well. Like in Western culture, we don't really care about yodels as much, but it's hard to do it like this, and it's really like good. It works in the song. It matches the energy, and it's really impressive that she's doing it. So if you're from a culture where you don't really hear yodeling a lot and you don't really care, then you're not gonna care. But that's like, it's like Westerners being like, oh, throat singing is something I don't understand, and so therefore I don't want to listen to it. But I think there is so much merit and so much ability here that it's like too impressive to ignore.
Моя реченька, ты течешь, да не колыбнешься.
This is nuts. In Switzerland and other alpine countries, yodeling developed into a song in the 19th century. The usually accompanied by Schweizergli accordion is the genre most favored by yodelers in association. So that's like Western European yodeling, right? Capriani. And I think that's important to take into account as well. She was at a TV competition when she was much younger. The judges were also not at all impressed by her yodels. I mean, I don't know. I think yodeling's cool. It takes skill. It sounds really interesting. It matches the energy of the song. I like the fact that she doesn't sound pleasant to my voice. It remains fascinating. Yeah. It remains fascinating. I see what you're saying. These are more Bavarian style, like German. She has incredible control over her voice. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. She has incredible control, but it doesn't result in any constriction of the sound, right? We still get that depth of tone. It's not about overtones. It's not about anything crazy in her technique. It's about letting the full natural ability of her anatomy come through in her sound, and it's super, super fantastic. So, hey, Sproulus, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Have a great evening. We'll see you next time. Yeah, right. There is something so unique about this voice that kind of resonates within you, and I think this song is really about the yodeling and the way she can stay in tune. All of it. It requires a lot of really finessed breathing as well. And keeping the mask wide open just to let the sound naturally reverberate out. They liked her. There you go. So she keeps that deep timbre, right? It's like an easy chest voice. It's almost like a really low mix in her voice. Like you take chest and then you go, and you sustain that easy mix down there. You learn how to support and create a function of respiration that supports that sound. And then you really open up the mask and you open it up. Figuring out a way for that to work for your voice is difficult. But that technique added on to this ridiculous natural talent, and by natural talent, I literally mean her anatomy is different to create this kind of sound. And allowing that to resonate out of the mask and do all that, it's a huge thing. It's phenomenal in literally the sense of a phenomenon, in that it doesn't happen all the time. It's very rare, and it's really lovely, and it hits you in a way that's different because you're not used to hearing low voiced female singers as it is. And then it's fantastic. Mr. Pogger, thank you for the $10 tip. And WDC, looking forward to hearing your song. Thank you. Mr. Pogger. That's a sick name. I'm like shocked that you could get that on Twitch. You would have think that you probably had that account a while ago. Yeah, I had to dig into this, what they actually were saying, and the rules of the show don't allow them to change the ruling after the first song, but they still wanted to hear what she could do in a normal song, and they said she would probably be successful later or something like that. They were actually very impressed by her yodels, just not by the choice of music genre. I mean, yeah, so there's nothing else in this song that stands out. It's a cool song. I wouldn't pick it for a competition, though. You know? Especially, like, I feel like if yodeling is the most impressive thing about the song, you really have to be sure that that's going to impress the judges to bring it to a competition. Song itself, fantastic. You know, if this were a performance, dude, people would be losing their minds. But it's competition, so you got to take that kind of thing into account. People have said that about Dimash as well, like, for something, you know, he had to get the crowd on their feet or something to win a competition, he was told. I don't know, someone yelled at me about this, and it was about a different show. But I mean, the premise still holds. They like her. Her voice is fantastic. It's unique. It's beautiful. But I don't know, if yodeling was one of my top skills, if that were the only really cool thing about a song, I wouldn't bring it to a competition in that sense. But still, she's got a crazy, ridiculous talent. You know, incredibly impressive, like, and mind blowing. You know, I don't like to not know what's going on, but this is one of those situations where I just don't really. I'll continue to try to figure it out. Cool.
Моя реченька, ты течешь, да не колыбнешься.
She uses her voice to paint a picture. Wind, waves, natural sounds, and crying. Yeah. I mean, that's clearly what was being evoked. It's a very primal sound that she creates. It's really, really impressive. It's like, you know, add that to the different, like, folk metal bands we listen to sometimes here, and that would be really fucking sick. That'd be really sick. All right.